Darling, stop everything you're doing and give me your full attention. Have you ever wondered why that coworker who doesn't even know the difference between inflation and deflation is already driving a BMW while you're still taking Uber Pool? It's because she understood something you haven't yet. Intelligence is overrated when it comes to getting rich. This is Duchess Dollars, and today we're talking about how people with half your IQ have bank accounts 3 times larger than yours. And no, it's not because they were born rich, although that certainly would have made things easier, wouldn't it? Recently, I was in Aspen with Mr. Millionaire, my adorable rich husband, and I ran into an old high school classmate who could barely write an essay. Now she owns 3 companies and has a private jet. Meanwhile, my friend who was top of the class in every subject is working 60 hours a week to pay for her tiny apartment. That doesn't make sense. Or does it? You know what the difference is? Dumb people aren't afraid of looking dumb. They don't get paralyzed thinking about all possible scenarios. They simply act. And guess what? While we're planning the perfect plan, they're already on their 3rd business. I always say, the rich work with glamour, the poor work with sweat. But the truth is that the rich work with action, while the overly intelligent work with analysis. And make no mistake, excessive analysis is the fastest route to paralysis. There's a Stanford University study that showed people with above-average IQs have more difficulty making quick business decisions because they can see all the possible problems. Meanwhile, people with average intelligence simply follow their intuition and often do better. I'm not saying you should be dumb. I'm just saying being too smart might be your biggest enemy. And there you are still splitting the restaurant bill on dates? What is this, darling? Are you doing charity work? If he can't pay for a complete dinner, how will he afford that house in the Hamptons you deserve? Look, I don't want to embarrass you, but yes, I am embarrassing you. If you're with a man who makes you split the bill, you urgently need new standards. Do you think I split bills with Mr. Millionaire? Of course not. The only thing I split with him is our vacations between Monaco and Bali. Remember Britney Spears? When she sang about working to have luxury things, she wasn't talking about working in an office 40 hours a week, darling. She was talking about working your connections, your intuition, and yes, maybe even a strategic marriage. I'm not saying you should marry for money. I'm just suggesting that if you're going to fall in love, why not fall in love with someone with a healthy bank account? As I always say, I'm millisexual. I'm only attracted to millionaires. Did you know that a market study showed 68% of people who started successful businesses had no idea what they were doing when they started? They simply saw an opportunity and grabbed it. Meanwhile, the geniuses were still making spreadsheets and SWOT analyses. The other day, I was at brunch with my millionaire friends. Yes, I only mix with rich people. The energy is different. And we all agreed. The most financially successful person from our school group was the one everyone called no future. Today, she has a network of aesthetic clinics worth millions. How did this happen? She started doing eyebrows at home during college. No business plan, no initial investment, no MBA, just action. I've seen this happen so many times. That high school girl everyone called clueless now has a chain of luxury spas in New York. How did this happen? She simply started posting facial massage videos on TikTok while you were getting your MBA and planning the perfect business. She didn't wait to have all the qualifications or the ideal plan. She just acted. Mr. Millionaire has a friend who literally cannot write an email without spelling mistakes, but he made millions in real estate. You know why? When everyone was analyzing the market crisis, he was buying properties at very low prices. He doesn't understand anything about advanced economics, but he understands the basic rule: buy low, sell high. And more importantly, he bought. You're still analyzing. My manicurist, yes, the same one who does my Swarovski nails, bought 3 apartments in Miami during the pandemic while economic specialists were writing articles about the uncertain future of the real estate market. She didn't know anything about economic cycles, but she knew people will always need a place to live. Today, she rents those apartments for absurd amounts. Intelligence? Average. Intuition? Impeccable. Courage? Admirable. I have a friend who didn't even know what a balance sheet was, and today has a cosmetics brand valued at millions of dollars. When I asked how she managed it, she said, I simply started selling to my friends and didn't stop until I got here. No MBA, no elaborate business plan, just action. Did you know Leonardo DiCaprio only dates women under 25? No, I'm not changing the subject. I'm showing you that even in love life, there's an expiration date. And in financial life too. That brilliant idea you have, someone dumber than you is already implementing it while you're still perfecting the details. And you? How many courses have you taken? How many how to get rich books have you read? How many perfect plans have you drawn up without ever putting them into practice? Einstein said that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly and expecting different results. So please stop studying how to get rich and start acting like a rich person. First rule, stop splitting bills. Our love language is money. And if he's not speaking that language fluently, he doesn't deserve your time. Second rule, stop overthinking. The richest people I know make decisions in seconds, not weeks. Third rule, frequent places where money circulates. You won't find a millionaire at a $5 happy hour. Want a tip on where to find rich men? Golf courses, polo clubs, five-star hotel restaurants? No, you don't need to be rich to enter these places. Order a coffee or water and observe. If you can't afford a golf tournament, volunteer at one. If you can't afford to frequent expensive restaurants regularly, get a job there. Put yourself in the path of abundance. And don't come at me with this story of, but Duchess, I don't know how to play golf. I didn't know either. But I hired a private instructor. Obviously, I could afford it. And learned enough not to make a fool of myself. And you know what I discovered? Most rich men don't care if you play well or not. They love to teach, explain, and feel important. Use that to your advantage. Another option, charity events. Rich people love to feel generous. If you can't buy a ticket to the benefit dinner, offer to volunteer. You'll have access to the same environment, but through the back door. And believe me, many rich men pay more attention to the girl serving champagne than to the bored socialites at the tables. I'll give you a free tip, and I rarely give anything for free, so pay attention. There are two types of intelligence, analytical and social. Guess which makes more money? Many of the most famous billionaires in the world weren't exactly academic geniuses, but they knew exactly how to convince people to buy their ideas. My husband, Mr. Millionaire, always says he prefers to hire someone charismatic with average intelligence than a genius without social skills. Why? Because money is made through people, not through brilliant ideas locked in a room. When I met Mr. Millionaire, at a charity auction, of course, I wasn't there for free. I didn't know anything about his industry, but I knew how to ask questions and, more importantly, how to listen with genuine interest. He was surrounded by beautiful women trying to impress him with superficial knowledge about his business. I was the only one who admitted to knowing nothing, but showed curiosity. 3 months later, we were on his private yacht and, well, the rest is history. Even those considered technology geniuses aren't necessarily the biggest brains in the world. They're people who understood the importance of execution and marketing. They know how to sell their ideas. Even when they're not the most original, how many social networks existed before Instagram? Several. But they executed better and faster than competitors. And speaking of gambling, I only play if the prize is a millionaire husband or a private island. Otherwise, my love, I prefer to bet on myself. You want to play the lottery? Darling, you already lost when you were born poor. You'll have to play the entrepreneurship game now. Casino is entertainment for those who haven't yet learned that the biggest stroke of luck is a stable union with someone from Forbes. Gambling is like trusting an ugly boy. You know it will go wrong, but you insist. Then you cry and still leave without a new purse. The only casino I'm interested in is Monte Carlo. Because there, if you lose, at least you lose with class, champagne, and a Dior dress. I remember when Mr. Millionaire invited me to Monte Carlo for the first time. He wanted to teach me to play blackjack. Darling, I said, if I'm going to learn to count cards, I'll use that skill to count the money in my bank account. In the end, he kept playing and I kept drinking champagne and networking with other millionaires' wives. Guess who won more that night? I left with 3 invitations to exclusive events and a contact for a rare jewelry supplier. That's knowing how to play. I've been told it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. But look, when Jesus said that, he certainly wasn't talking about rich women. After all, every queen deserves a crown, whether on earth or in heaven. You know what else dumb people do that intelligent people avoid? They ask for help. They admit they don't know everything. While you're trying to solve everything alone to prove your intelligence, they're building a network of contacts and learning from those who have already reached where they want to go. I have a friend with a Harvard degree who was struggling to launch her startup, while a high school classmate who barely finished school was already in her second round of investments. The difference? The less intelligent girl wasn't ashamed to message CEOs on LinkedIn asking for advice. And guess what? Some responded and even became investors. You need to understand something. Rich people love giving advice. It makes them feel even more important and intelligent. Use this to your advantage. Ask for advice, not money. Money will come as a consequence. The big lesson here isn't to stop being intelligent. It's to stop letting your intelligence prevent you from acting. The people you consider dumber than you who are already rich have a quality worth more than IQ: courage. And while you're calculating all the variables, they're out there making mistakes, learning, and most importantly, winning. My little dog Chanel, yes, that's her name, got a problem with that, has more courage than many intelligent people I know. She doesn't think twice before jumping on Mr. Millionaire to ask for what she wants, and guess what? She always gets it. Be more like Chanel and less like a hamster on a wheel of thoughts. In fact, Chanel has her own Instagram profile with over 100,000 followers. And yes, she earns more money than many people with PhDs. She didn't need to take entrance exams, didn't need to study economics. She's simply cute and authentic. How many dog profiles are there? Thousands. But I saw an opportunity, acted quickly, and now luxury pet brands pay to appear on her profile. Once again, execution beats planning. Darling, let me tell you a secret. Nobody really knows what they're doing. That CEO you admire, he's improvising half the time. That successful influencer, she's testing and seeing what works. The difference is that they're in motion while you're paralyzed by the possibility of failure. Mr. Millionaire confessed to me once, after a few glasses of Dom Perignon champagne, the usual for every Tuesday at our house, that when he started his empire, he had no idea what he was doing. He simply knew he needed to act as if he knew. And while he acted, he learned. That's how it works in the world of the rich. Another thing that deeply irritates me is seeing intelligent women diminishing themselves for mediocre men. Are you expecting him to value you when you don't value yourself? If you're accepting to split the bill with a man who earns less than you, you're establishing a dangerous pattern. Let me tell you a story. A friend of mine, an executive on Wall Street, started dating an up-and-coming artist. On their first date, he suggested splitting the bill. She accepted, thinking it was modern and egalitarian. 3 years later, she was paying the rent, the bills, and financing his artistic career. Meanwhile, he criticized her for being too materialistic. Darling, she was his sugar mommy and didn't even realize it. I'm not saying to be a snob, I'm saying to value your time, your energy, and your resources. If you want to be treated like a queen, start acting like one. And queens don't split bills. The issue isn't even the money itself. It's what it represents. When a man offers to pay the bill, he's saying, I value your time and your presence. When he suggests splitting, he's saying, you're not worth that investment. It's as simple as that. And don't come at me with this story of, but what if he can't afford it? If he can't afford to pay for dinner, he certainly can't afford to offer the life you deserve. And if you're thinking, but I can pay for my own dinners, then ask yourself, why are you with someone who doesn't add value to your life? When I started dating Mr. Millionaire, I didn't have even half the money I have today. But I valued myself. I didn't accept less than I deserved. And guess what? He respected that. Men respect clear boundaries and standards. If you want to escape financial mediocrity, set aside your intellectual ego. Stop thinking you're too smart to make mistakes. Mistakes are precisely what will lead you to success. As long as you learn from them, of course. And never, ever, under any circumstances, split the bill on a date. If you want to economize, date a poor man. He'll teach you to add water to 2-in-1 shampoo. But if you want the life you deserve, remember, intelligent women are gold diggers because being a gold digger is accepting what you deserve. You know what I did before meeting Mr. Millionaire? I created a list of places where rich men frequented and started showing up there. I didn't have money at the time, so I economized on everything to be able to buy a single designer piece and frequent those environments. And it worked. It wasn't coincidence. It was strategy. I used the same Chanel bag, yes, counterfeit, but that's between us, at all events. But nobody knew that because I combined it with different accessories each time. I had just one designer dress that I bought at a luxury thrift store. The secret was changing accessories and never posting photos wearing the same look twice. Perception, darling. It's all about perception. I even took out a loan to buy shares in a company that I knew would be present at an important networking event. That way, when executives asked if I was an investor, I could honestly say, yes. I invested the minimum possible, but that gave me access to a world that would normally be closed to me. But maybe you don't want to depend on a rich man, and I respect that. In that case, be the rich woman. And for that, you need to stop acting like a paralyzed intellectual and start acting like a determined entrepreneur. The good news is that we live in the internet era where you can start a business with almost nothing. You don't need an MBA or a large investment. You need an idea, a cell phone, and a lot of work. And honestly, sometimes you don't even need the idea. You can copy what's already working and just do it better. A friend of mine started selling handmade earrings online. Nothing original, right? Thousands of people do that. But she observed the market and realized there was a gap. Nobody was focusing on earrings for women with sensitive ears. She simply copied popular designs using hypoallergenic materials and dominated that niche. Today, she has a team of 20 people and makes 6 figures monthly. Another friend saw that luxury brands were discarding fabrics in perfect condition. She started collecting these scraps and transforming them into scarves and wraps. Today, she sells these sustainable pieces. People love feeling eco-friendly while consuming for absurd prices. And the production cost? Practically zero. The secret isn't being unique or revolutionary. It's being observant and quick. See what's working and do the same or better. The dumb people who are getting rich aren't reinventing the wheel. They're taking wheels that already exist and putting on new tires. Another thing people underestimate: network, network, network. Your net worth is directly proportional to the value of the people around you. If you're surrounded by people complaining about life and splitting lunch bills, guess what you'll become? When I started, I didn't know anyone influential, so I began frequenting free events where I knew important people would be. Lectures, book launches, art exhibitions. I couldn't buy art, but I could be in the same environment as the buyers. And to finish, let me give you advice that's worth gold. Stop being afraid of looking dumb. The smartest person in the room isn't the one who knows all the answers. It's the one who asks all the questions. And the richest? It's the one who transforms those answers into action. As my grandmother used to say, who, by the way, married an industrialist, better to be dumb with money than intelligent without a penny. She may not have had a degree, but she had 3 houses and jewelry worth more than apartments today. I think we know who is really intelligent, don't we? If you like this video and want to learn more about how to stop being intelligent and start being rich, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and leave your like. After all, you may not have been born rich like me, but you can always become rich. Or even better, marry someone rich. I've left links to products in the pinned comment that will help you attract the wealth you deserve. And if you really enjoyed this video, comment "rich now," so the algorithm understands you're ready to stop being a fool and start being a duchess. This is Duchess Dollars reminding you that while some cry on cheap pillows, I prefer to cry on my private jet on the way to Europe. Until the next video, and remember, be visionary, don't be a fool. And since we're talking about intelligence and money, how about having the intelligence to follow and support someone who's already exactly where you want to be? I've been in this luxurious life long enough to know all the shortcuts. So take advantage of my experience, and no, this isn't charity. You'll need to subscribe, like, and share. Because even Duchess Dollars needs to feed the algorithm. Oh, and if by chance you're already rich and only watch my videos because you love my style and glamour, which is totally understandable, then let's meet at the next polo tournament or Christie's auction, darling. We rich women need to stick together. After all, the air really is different at the top.